brother got the rack lit, O Block, 3rd, 64th, like, everybody we want to go over there because my brother, like, he the real GOAT.
King Von was Black Disciples to his core, straight out of O Block, 64th and King Drive, one of the most feared corners in all of Chicago. But now, shocking new footage of her own mother has surfaced online, and fans can't believe what they're seeing.
All of this going on at the time, it's safe to say that no one was really looking out for the best interests of the Black community in Chicago.
The clips show her surrounded by alleged gangster disciple members, and people are calling it the ultimate betrayal of everything Von ever stood for. So what really went down between King Von's mom and the GDs? Here's the full story behind that viral footage and why it set the internet on fire.
The story of the crew, who would later go on to be the GDs or Gangster Disciples, starts in 1964 when a group of young men all met in the home of a man named Larry Hoover.
The videos started flooding X, TikTok, and Instagram, showing Tesa Bennett, King Von's mother, partying in clubs, dancing, posing for photos, and chilling with people many claimed were GDs. Pics of her in a tight brown bodysuit with gold boots were posted by Amaya Mixtape with a caption about her being ready to hit the club in her 50s. And that post alone racked up over 11,000 likes and more than 2 million views. But the attention wasn't just about her outfit. It was about who she was hanging with.
That they wanted to start their own crew and take over the block.
The internet quickly pointed out tattoos, hand signs, and faces that looked all too familiar. Faces tied to the Gangster Disciples. Soon, whispers turned into wild rumors across Chicago's online scene. By late 2025, fans were convinced Tesa might be dating or spending time with someone connected to the GDs. Comment sections blew up with one repeating line: "How can she be around GDs when her son died repping BD?"
And after King David's death, it seemed like many members stopped respecting Larry Hoover's leadership, and ultimately leading members to disrespect the supreme gangsters.
That question hit deep because King Von wasn't just any rapper. He was a symbol of the Black Disciples. Born Davon Daquan Bennett on August 9, 1994, he rose from the heart of O Block on Chicago's South Side, a hood named after fallen BD member O.D. Perry. Von's music told raw stories of life, loyalty, and street wars, especially the brutal rivalry between the Black Disciples and the Gangster Disciples. The BD-GD conflict runs deep. This isn't some short-term beef. It's a decades-long war that's taken countless lives on both sides. King Von's entire image, reputation, and story were tied to that ongoing battle.
The housing authority is $30 million in debt. The building codes are not being enforced, and the elevators, when they work, are called the most dangerous form of public transportation in Chicago.
Then tragedy struck. On November 6, 2020, Von was fatally shot at just 26 years old during a shootout outside a nightclub in Atlanta, Georgia. He left behind 3 kids, a legacy of music, and a mother who now carried his name everywhere she went. That mother is Tesa Bennett. She raised Von right in the middle of Chicago's chaos. She saw him go from a troubled teen to a local legend, watched him serve time, come home, sign with Lil Durk's Only the Family label, and drop street anthems like Crazy Story. She was there through it all, even when Von was acquitted in a high-profile murder trial.
The structure is provided by the gang, who marked their turf with spray paint and set up sniper posts in high-rise buildings.
His sister, Kayla B., once said she knew her brother would walk free because the witnesses looked nervous and inconsistent in court. But after all that, the fame, the losses, the tributes, and the posthumous albums, suddenly that clip appeared. Footage of Tesa standing near alleged GD members hit the internet, and everything exploded. Nobody asked for the backstory. Nobody waited for facts. The internet reacted instantly, and the backlash was brutal.
Video songs, like, how y'all know my brother did that? If it ain't no video, he ain't this.
Tesa finally spoke out. She firmly denied being romantically involved with any GD member and said her private life had nothing to do with gang politics. She made it clear she's focused on healing, staying positive, and living her life. But by then, the damage was done. The footage had gone viral, the opinions were flying, and suddenly, Tesa Bennett became the main topic of an online storm she never started. To really get why this hit so hard, you've got to understand what that war represents. The conflict between the Black Disciples and Gangster Disciples isn't just a rap feud. It's a deep-rooted generational struggle that shaped Chicago's South Side for over 50 years. This war goes way back to the 1960s, long before drill music ever existed.
Let them rest.
Back then, Chicago was breaking down. Factories were shutting their doors, manufacturing jobs were disappearing overseas. The steel industry was collapsing, leaving entire communities stranded. Black families who moved to the South Side during the Great Migration were boxed in by racist housing policies and restricted covenants that stopped them from buying homes freely. With unemployment rising and options fading, the pressure in those neighborhoods exploded. And from that chaos, two of Chicago's most powerful street movements were born.
You pull out and you shoot 4 times.
Yeah, the gun jammed.
Oh, the gun jammed?
Yeah.
Banks flat out refused to lend money in black neighborhoods, classic redlining. That left young black men trapped in poverty, constantly harassed and ignored by a city that didn't care about them. So they did what they had to do. They came together, forming street crews to protect themselves and their communities. Out of that struggle came the Disciples, who later evolved into the Devil's Disciples.
The 4th shot?
Probably like the 3rd shot.
Okay.
Leading the movement was a teenage visionary named David Barksdale, better known on the streets as King David. He wasn't just another kid on the block. He was building something that would shape Chicago's streets for generations. King Von himself reportedly claimed he was the grandson of David Barksdale, the original founder of the Black Disciples. That claim made his loyalty to the BD name even deeper. It wasn't just about the streets, it was about legacy and bloodline. Meanwhile, in 1964, across another part of Chicago, a group of young men met at the home of Larry Hoover.
It's the body.
I get shot in my right hip bone, and I get shot on my ass. It go in and out though.
That's where they decided to start their own movement, the Supreme Gangsters. From Hoover's window, they watched older hustlers working the corners and realized they were right in the middle of rival turf. So they marked their own ground and built their identity from scratch. At first, the Supreme Gangsters and the Disciples had no issue with each other. But once David Barksdale began expanding and forming what became known as the Black Disciple Nation, things got complicated, fast. Tensions rose, power shifted, and the two sides eventually clashed. Then came a shocking twist. In 1969, both Hoover and Barksdale decided to merge their forces. They created the Black Gangster Disciple Nation, sharing power and uniting the streets under one flag.
This is now the 2nd time you've gotten shot.
For a brief moment, it seemed like peace was possible, but that unity didn't last long. After King David died in September 1974 from kidney failure linked to an old gunshot wound, everything fell apart. His followers loved him too much to let his legacy fade, and many refused to take orders from Hoover. The group split again. The Black Disciples became their own separate family, and the Gangster Disciples did the same. From that point forward, it was civil war.
I'm gonna call my friends and my brothers and them like we just talking. When we hit gunshots, we what the?
Former brothers became bitter enemies, and the fight only grew deadlier. Through the 1980s crack epidemic, both sides fought hard for control of Chicago's drug trade. The GDs were rumored to be pulling in nearly $100 million a year from massive operations inside housing projects like the Robert Taylor Homes and Cabrini Green. The city turned into a battlefield, and that war's echoes still hit hard today. The BDs operated out of a spot they called the Castle, a powerful headquarters that was rumored to pull in nearly $300,000 a day. The money was crazy, but the price was blood. Both the BDs and GDs started recruiting kids straight from the neighborhood, young soldiers caught in a cycle of violence that never seemed to end. Every killing sparked another, and the streets couldn't breathe.
You have to pull out, and then you like stop the news up. So now we see like what's going on, like the shooting.
News crews eventually showed the world what Chicago residents had been living through for decades. Pure chaos. The level of violence inside those housing projects was unreal. In just 1 year, Cabrini Green recorded 200 people shot or stabbed, averaging 8 violent crimes for every 100 residents. That's not just dangerous, it's a war zone. And And right in the middle of all that destruction were the GDs and BDs, locked in constant battles over turf, drug money, and respect. By the 1990s, the violence got so out of hand that federal authorities stepped in, determined to tear down both organizations from the inside out.
Like, what the f***, I still go crazy. So everybody calling me and shit. They were saying he was good and shit.
Larry Hoover got hit hard with new federal charges after investigators wiretapped a prison visitor's badge that his people were using to pass messages and receive orders. Once the feds pieced it together, Hoover was sent off to a supermax facility in Colorado, where his communication with the outside world was nearly cut off for good. On the BD side, the fallout hit too. In 1998, high-ranking member Robert Allen flipped after confessing to selling more than 220 pounds of crack, which triggered 21 new indictments against the BDs. The streets started crumbling under the pressure.
Okay, I ain't gonna stress it. It's like, I said it till like 7 in the morning.
Then in the early 2000s, when Chicago began demolishing the major housing projects like the Robert Taylor homes, everything changed again. Those demolitions scattered gang members across the city, forcing them into new neighborhoods and creating fresh alliances, but also fresh conflicts. The once powerful structure of the GDs and BDs broke apart, giving rise to smaller, unpredictable street crews who claimed individual blocks and went to war with whoever was next door. One of those new BD sets was named O Block in honor of O.D. Perry, a young member killed in the streets. O Block soon became one of the most famous neighborhoods in America, immortalized by Chief Keef, Lil Durk, and later King Von.
I way back, his cousin called me. He gone. I said, her name out.
Across the street, GD-affiliated blocks like STL, later renamed Ville after a slain member, and EBT on 64th and Eberhart, O Block's sworn rivals. Von's alleged involvement in that war's violence started surfacing around 2014 when he was just 19. That year, he was named as a suspect in the fatal shooting of Jakira Key Barnes, a 17-year-old GD figure from STL, who herself was feared across the city. Street rumors claimed Key had been involved in multiple killings, including, according to street law, the murder of O.D. Perry. Police questioned Von as a person of interest, but because witnesses kept changing their stories, he was never charged.
I'm stuck in her ways. A lot of people say we act alike, so maybe that's the reason. Like, she still want to be young and stuff.
Later, in 2021, unsealed Chicago Police Department documents publicly named Von as the Key's alleged killer. His sister, Kayla B., spoke about the reports, saying she'd seen them, but refused to confirm or deny anything about her brother's street activities. She made it clear, "My brother's name doesn't deserve to be a dumping ground for every unsolved case." The feud only grew worse once the drill rap era exploded. King Von and FBG Duck, a GD-affiliated rapper from the Tookerville faction, started dissing each other openly online and in songs. Duck's 2020 track, Dead S, mocked fallen O Block members by name, throwing gas on an already burning fire.
She's stubborn too, like, she be stuck in her ways. She's stubborn. Like, I feel like as a mother, you shouldn't be like that with your kids.
According to FBI files and court documents, King Von allegedly placed a bounty on FBG Duck's head, starting at $50,000, then reportedly raised to $100,000. Just months later, on August 4th, 2020, FBG Duck was ambushed and shot to death in Chicago's upscale Gold Coast neighborhood, a hit that shocked the entire city. By January 2024, 6 O Block members were convicted on federal racketeering charges connected to Duck's murder. But the story didn't end there, because only 3 months after Duck's death, King Von himself was gone. On November 6, 2020, Von was shot and killed outside a nightclub in Atlanta after an altercation with rapper Quando Rondo's crew. The man who pulled the trigger, Timothy Lil Tim Leaks, became one of the most controversial figures in modern hip-hop overnight. Von's death closed one of the bloodiest chapters in the BDG saga, but it didn't end the story. It left behind a trail of pain, rumors, and loyalty wars that still burn through Chicago's streets today.
Ways that we don't even know about that he helped people.
Yeah, his guys, that nigga, he loved them.
Timothy Lil Tim Leaks later spoke about that tragic night during his Vlad TV interview, giving his side of the chaos. He said his gun jammed right after the third shot, then everything spun out of control. Moments later, police arrived at the scene, and Lil Tim was hit twice when they opened fire. His injuries were so bad that he had to undergo extensive medical treatment just to recover. But even as he recounted the pain, the interviewer pushed for details about what it felt like in those seconds that changed everything. In August 2023, all charges against Lil Tim were officially dropped under Georgia's Stand Your Ground law. Prosecutors ruled that he acted in self-defense, closing one of the most controversial cases in modern rap history. Meanwhile, Kayla B., King Von's sister, was right there in that parking lot the night her brother died. She didn't witness the actual shooting, but she heard it. The sounds of those gunshots and screams tore through the air, freezing everyone in shock. Her driver didn't move at first. The car just sat there as chaos exploded all around them. People were running, falling, and ducking for cover. Pure panic. When the first wave of confusion faded, Kayla started making calls. Her first call was to Von himself, but he didn't pick up. Then she dialed her cousin, Bonna, who answered and told her Von had been shot, but insisted he was okay, saying it was only one time. Kayla tried to stay calm, clinging to that hope, convincing herself everything would be fine. She stayed up all night, eyes wide open, waiting for good news that never came. By 7 a.m., she finally dozed off, still believing her brother was going to pull through. But then came the second call, the one that shattered her entire world. That's the kind of heartbreak that sits behind every discussion about King Von's legacy. When fans debate the BDGD war online, they do it through memes, lyrics, and interviews. But for Tesa Bennett and Kayla B., it's not entertainment, it's trauma. Those 7 a.m. phone calls aren't stories to them, they're permanent scars. This was the world Tesa lived in. A world where her son got trapped in a war that swallowed friends, rivals, and eventually him too. Every person who commented on that viral video of her surrounded by alleged GD members was reacting to this exact history. They weren't just judging her for being in a club, they were weighing it against years of bloodshed, betrayal, and heartbreak. For Tesa Bennett, this isn't just a viral moment. It's the burden of being a mother who raised a legend and then had to grieve him in public while the world watched and debated her every move.
Like, so that happening for Von, like, they was excited. They was happy as hell because they know Von gonna make sure everybody's straight.
Tesa Bennett never asked to be famous. Her son's rise and his violent death forced her into the spotlight she never wanted. Since then, she's faced that attention with a mix of grief, pride, and raw determination, refusing to back down no matter what people say. To really understand her, you have to look past the viral videos and headlines and see the full story of who she is and what she survived. Tesa raised King Von in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America, surrounded by chaos and heartbreak. Von's father, Walter E. Bennett, better known on the streets as Silk, spent most of Von's early years in and out of jail. Then tragedy hit. Silk was killed when Von was just 11 years old. That loss changed everything. In a candid documentary-style interview shared on TikTok, Tesa opened up about what it felt like losing the father of her first child. Her words hit hard. She said, "I was upset, angry, disappointed. It's a whole lot of different emotions because it's my first child's father and he don't get to see him grow up." That absence left a hole in Von's life, and it became one of the driving forces that pushed him deeper into the streets later on. When Von's rap career started blowing up, Tesa was always supportive, but insiders say she didn't like seeing him still wrapped up in gang life. She even appeared in a viral clip confronting her son about his affiliations, trying to pull him back from the same streets that would one day take him. Von's sister, Kayla B., has spoken openly about their complicated family dynamic. In one interview, she broke down the generational tension between them, offering an honest take on their mom's fiery personality, someone strong enough to protect her family, but also stubborn enough to clash with them. After Von's death, Tesa's public presence only grew louder. She became one of the main people managing her son's legacy, handling rumors, protecting his image, and posting heartfelt tributes. On the 3rd anniversary of his passing, she used his official Instagram to share a message that touched millions. "We all miss you, but we're grateful for the memories and music you left us with. You really left a huge impact on all our lives." But the most heartbreaking moment came during a later interview when she was asked what she missed most about Von. She didn't mention fame or success. She talked about love. Her voice cracked as she said, his smile, when he tilted his head, when him giving me a kiss. "I love you, Ma." That pain never left her. Still, Tesa refused to be defined only by tragedy. She rebuilt herself online, showing confidence and resilience through her fashion, travels, and nightlife posts. Her bold style and youthful energy kept her going viral, this time on her own terms. Fans praised her glow-up, calling her a baddie mom, while critics accused her of acting too young for a woman in her 50s. But Tesa didn't let the hate slide. When trolls mocked her for wearing revealing outfits, she fired back saying, "Law, it's just shorts and a body." A quick reminder that she'd wear whatever she wanted. And when an AI-generated image started circulating online, showing her at Von's gravesite in a fake scene meant to spark drama, she didn't stay quiet. She shut it down immediately, writing, "This is not real, and I don't think it's funny." Then came the footage, the clip that reignited everything, the one showing Tesa surrounded by alleged GD members. And just like that, the internet turned its gaze on her once again.
I told you he had took a picture. I wasn't even looking. And he was like, Shorty finna have everything she had.
By late 2025 and early 2026, whispers started spreading fast. People online claimed Tesa Bennett was hanging out or even dating someone connected to the gangster disciples. Photos and short clips started popping up showing her at clubs, lounges, and events alongside faces that internet detectives instantly labeled as GD affiliated. From there, social media did what it always does, took a complicated woman with a real story and flattened her into one viral headline. To some, she was painted as a traitor to King Von's memory. To others, she was just a free woman living her own life. There was no in-between, no empathy, no room for context, just judgment. But Tesa didn't stay silent. She clapped back at the rumors head-on, calling them misinformation and setting the record straight. She said loud and clear that she wasn't romantically involved with any GD member and that nobody had the right to police her personal life just because of her son's history. "I'm not in that world," she insisted, making it clear that while she respected Von's legacy, she refused to live under the same street politics that took him away. And here's the twist that makes it all sting even deeper. The same King Von people now defend online wasn't just a tough rapper or gang symbol. Behind the music and the street talk, he was known for his heart, for being warm, generous, and protective of the people he loved. His sister, Kayla B, has spoken in detail about that side of him, the softer side most fans never saw. She said Von always made sure everyone around him was good once the money started flowing. His crew loved him so much that many called him Pops, a sign of how he looked out for him like family, even though he was only in his mid-20s. Von looked after Kayla too. He'd quietly snap photos of her when she wasn't looking, and later tell her, "I'm gonna make sure you have everything you ever wanted." That was the real Von, the one Tesa Bennett raised, and the one she lost far too soon. Now that same internet that bumps his music, quotes his lyrics, and praises his legacy daily is the same one trying to tell his mother how she's supposed to grieve, and even who she's allowed to stand next to. That's why the footage of Tesa with alleged GD members exploded. It wasn't just about what people saw, but what they projected onto it. The clip hit a raw nerve because it sat right at the crossroads of loyalty, pain, gender, and hip-hop culture's obsession with turning real-life trauma into viral content. The first layer behind all the noise is gang loyalty. In Chicago's drill scene, once you rep a side, it's treated like it's forever, almost like it's inherited through bloodlines. King Von built his whole public identity around being BD from O Block. His lyrics, interviews, and even his beefs, especially with FBG Duck and the GD sets on 63rd, were all tied to that badge of loyalty. So when fans saw his mom, the woman who raised one of the most loyal BDs ever, standing near alleged GDs, it hit like a betrayal to everything Von stood for. But in truth, what went viral wasn't just a moment. It was a reflection of how the internet mixes gang history, grief, and celebrity culture into something the world can't stop talking about. The internet treated it like a posthumous betrayal, as if Tesa Bennett had personally broken everything King Von ever stood for. But that reaction says a lot more about the audience than about her. It shows how deeply fans have blurred the line between real life and entertainment. People stream drill music like it's a TV series, memorize the feuds like stats, and even keep track of body counts, all while demanding that the real people living in that world follow the code forever.
Calm. So it's like this time I knew, like, do the same thing, like stay calm and just make sure I get to the hospital.
But here's the truth. Tesa Bennett isn't a gang member. She's a grieving mother who lost her son to street violence. The idea that she must live her entire life according to the same gang rules that killed him is wild. And it shows just how deeply Chicago's gang culture has embedded itself into the public mindset. Then comes the second layer, gender and age. Tesa's viral moments have always been filtered through judgment about how she looks, what she wears, and how she moves. When she posted photos rocking fitted outfits, people flooded her comments telling her to act her age. When she went out clubbing or dancing, others said she wasn't mourning properly. And when that video of her twerking hit millions of views, the internet split. Some cheered her confidence, while others dragged her for being too bold. So when the footage dropped showing her around alleged GD members, all that judgment came crashing back. Double the heat this time. It wasn't just about her being seen near supposed rivals. It was about her refusing to shrink, refusing to disappear into quiet grief. She was out, living her life, unapologetic. And that broke the unspoken rule that mothers of fallen rappers must grieve forever in silence. The third layer is the chain of chaos King Von's death left behind, a storm that's still spinning years later. After Von was killed, things didn't calm down, they escalated. Federal prosecutors claimed that Lil Durk, Von's close friend and label boss, allegedly placed a bounty on Quando Rondo, sparking a supposed murder-for-hire plot on August 19, 2022, near the Beverly Center Mall in Los Angeles. According to prosecutors, gunmen hired by Durk opened fire on Rondo at a gas station. Rondo survived the hit, but his cousin, L.A. Pab Robinson, was tragically killed in the crossfire. Authorities allege Durk promised the shooters both money and career opportunities as payment, even using OTF funds to cover travel and logistics for the mission. In October 2024, Lil Durk was arrested near Miami International Airport, allegedly while trying to flee the country. He was hit with conspiracy to commit murder-for-hire charges, alongside 5 alleged OTF associates: Kayvon, London, DeAndre, Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston. Each of them faced serious counts tied to the same deadly plot, including murder for hire resulting in death. As of early 2026, Durk remains detained, awaiting trial after pleading not guilty. But the legal fallout didn't stop there. FBG Duck's mother filed a massive wrongful death lawsuit against Durk, Von's estate, OTF, and even Sony Music, accusing them of operating as a criminal enterprise. Meanwhile, the man who actually pulled the trigger on Von, Lul Tim, is free and building his own rap career. He's been open about the shooting, explaining how it changed his body and his entire life. In interviews, he said he didn't even realize it was King Von he'd shot until afterward, that everything happened in the blur of panic and adrenaline. In those seconds, he claimed he wasn't thinking about fame or gangs. He was reacting, trying to protect Quando Rondo from what looked like a mob attack. In the fog of gunfire, confusion ruled. No one was calculating, just surviving. And through all of this, the shootings, indictments, lawsuits, and endless viral updates, the machine keeps turning. Every arrest, every dropped charge, every shocking clip gets fed right back into the cycle, keeping the story alive while the real people behind it keep bleeding. And in the middle of all that noise, Tesa Bennett just went to a club. She danced, smiled, and took photos, but because of who her son was and what his death represents, the world turned her night out into a scandal. That's the twisted irony. A mother stepped out to live her life, and somehow that became breaking news in a culture that can't stop confusing grief with loyalty or survival with sin. The internet made up its mind fast. It decided Tesa Bennett was hanging with the GDs, and that was all it needed to drag her right back into controversy. Once again, she was being judged by the same harsh spotlight that's followed her since the moment her son became famous, and later, when he became a name etched in tragedy.
I didn't know neither one if he was gone or still alive. I didn't even know it was him.
Social media split right down the middle. Her supporters came to her defense, saying she's in her 50s, she's not in a gang, let her live. They saw strength in her, a mother refusing to be trapped by loss, choosing to move forward when the world wanted her frozen in grief. But her critics didn't hold back either. They called it disrespectful, demanding to know how she could be around anyone tied to the side that once stood against everything King Von represented. Then came the TikTok edits, memes, and mashups. People overlaid her club videos with Von's music, turning real life into another digital circus. The whole thing became a spectacle, and that's exactly how the internet processes pain that isn't its own. But when you look deeper, what that viral footage exposed wasn't betrayal. It was expectation, the impossible expectations placed on mothers, sisters, and families of people taken by gang violence. Tesa Bennett is expected to mourn on command, to live by the same street code her son died under, a code she never signed up for. She didn't start this war. She didn't write its rules. She's just another woman from a city that has failed generations of young men. The same city that birthed the BDs and the GDs and watched them tear each other apart for over 50 years. That's right, the BDG war has lasted half a century. It began with young men forming neighborhood crews for safety on Chicago's South Side, grew into powerful drug empires, and then collapsed under RICO indictments and housing demolitions that scattered entire communities. The war evolved into drill music, spreading from the blocks to the charts, turning real-life bloodshed into one of the most consumed genres in history. And it's still not over. You can see it continuing in courtrooms, where Lil Durk now waits for trial. You can hear it in interviews, where Lil Tim retells the night he shot a man he didn't even realize was King Von. You can read it in lawsuits, filed by mothers demanding justice for sons who never made it home. And you can feel it in viral clips, where another mother, Tesa Bennett, just tries to dance, smile, and live without permission. In the wreckage of it all, King Von's family once released a heartfelt message that said everything that needed to be said. Thank you to everyone who has shown love for King Von. You all played a massive role in his accomplishments. By continuing to play his music and share your stories about how he inspired and influenced you, you're keeping his legacy alive. Those words came from grief, but they carried wisdom too. They asked fans to keep Von's name alive through his music, not by policing his mother's life or weaponizing her pain for likes and retweets. The truth is simple. Tesa Bennett didn't owe anyone an explanation for being seen in public, but she gave one anyway. And just like always, the internet kept talking, because that's what the digital age does. It turns mourning into memes and heartbreak into hashtags. Yet through it all, Tesa stands tall, proof that survival is its own rebellion. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story behind King Von, his family, and the legacy of Chicago's drill scene, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below. Your engagement keeps stories like this alive, and there's plenty more where this came from.